Hi guys, Roadrunner here again with another video. Right, so today, if you seen the thumbnail title, you can see that today we are talking about feedback on the Courier Exchange or the CX. How to get good positive feedback, how to avoid bad negative feedback, and how to increase your chances of getting work and building up a good feedback. Right, so why is it important? First of all, okay, feedback on the CX it represents your reputation and your reliability to shippers using the CX and people who are hiring you on the CX, because that's what they're doing, they're hiring you, right? And when you have a really good feedback base, you've got lots of positive, no negatives, and you are justified then in increasing your bids on your jobs a little bit and winning those bids, even though they're a bit higher. Don't make the mistake of thinking that shippers don't look at feedback, because they do. Of course they do. Like I say, it's your reputation, and they need to know and make sure that the people they're hiring are going to be doing a good job for them and their customers. Okay, so how do you get positive feedback? I've already sort of touched on it, but the thing is, you need to respect the fact that you are working for somebody else. You are representing the shipper, okay? At the collection point, at the delivery point, at all stages, you are representing the shipper, okay? So you need to be polite, you need to talk to people with respect, don't be effing and blinding, don't be arguing, all right? It takes more, gents and girls, ladies, if you're doing this, sorry, it takes more to get positive feedback than just taking a job from A to B, okay? That's the minimum expectation, okay? That's the lowest thing they expect from you, shippers, okay? So it takes a bit more to get positive feedback, okay? So as I've said, you need to be polite and have respect on sites when you're representing the shipper and talking to their customer. The customer could be either the sender or the receiver, all right? So don't make the mistake of thinking it's one or the other. It could be either, all right? It could be another third party, you know. So just remember to be professional and polite at all times, and have respect for the fact that you're representing somebody else. You're the face of the shipper's company at all times, okay? So be polite. Wear your PPE on site, okay? At collection, at delivery, at all points, okay? Don't wait to be told to put it on. You can see I'm not wearing my high vis now, right? But it's there, right? As soon as I get out of this van, it's on, all right? Before I get out of this van, it's on, all right? The minimum expectation with PPE at all places will be high vis and boots, all right? You should have these on all the time. If you don't like driving in boots, you don't have to. Keep them with you, put them on when you get out, that's fine. Me, I just wear boots I'm comfortable to drive in. Right? So always don't wait to be told to put on your PPE. Alright? That's amateur if you do that, alright? So don't wait to be told. Alright? Keep your timekeeping is another way to encourage good feedback. If you're supposed to be someplace at a certain time, be there at a certain time. Be there early. You know? You should be waiting for other people. Other people shouldn't be waiting for you. Alright? So if you're going to be late, let somebody, call the ship. If there's a traffic incident or whatever, make a phone call hands-free, let people know. All right. So that's it. That's a good, that's another thing to keep in mind when you're looking for good feedback. Another good thing you need to understand, right, is any instructions you're given, right, whether it be on the phone when you're talking to the shipper when you're booked, or on the CX job when it comes through on the app, when it's written down in the thing. Read it, follow it, do as you've been requested. If there's anything there you don't understand, call and ask. All right. It's pretty simple. All right. So there's that, and always have good communication, all right, with the shipper. Like I say, if there's any reason you need to think about something, you don't quite understand something, you're not sure where to go, call the shipper, ask them. All right, keep good communication with the shipper. Don't be afraid to give them a call. All right. So there's that. Just keep good communication with all of these things as well. And the status of any job you're doing on the CX, right? Update it as appropriate and when it's done. All right. On the way to the collection, at collection point, loaded, at delivery point, POD, all of that. Update it as you go. All right. Don't forget it. Don't neglect it, all right? Because shippers like to know what's happening. They don't like to be left guessing when it comes to you and your job that you're doing for them. They want to know what's happening and when it's happening. And the CX, the status update, that's an excellent way of doing it. So don't neglect it and do it straight away, okay? Like I say, if there's any traffic incidents or anything like that and you're going to be delayed, right, call the shipper, hands free, give them a call, let them know, right? And that's whether or not you're going to be late for collection or delivery, all right? At any point, just keep them updated. Just, like I say, maintain excellent communication with the shipper. Alright, so that's how you get positive feedback. Alright, that's sort of the sort of guidelines you need to follow to get positive feedback. Alright, so what you need to do next is to avoid negative feedback. Alright, I've already said that to get positive feedback you need to be polite and things like that. Right, well, the other side of that coin is don't be rude. Don't start effing and blinding and things like that, because it's not going to get you anywhere. All right, don't, even if somebody's being rude and obnoxious to you, if they're telling you, if it comes down to a shouting match on site at delivery point, collection point, at any point, if it comes, that's going to be negative. That's going to be negative feedback for you. All right, even if you're right in that situation. That person, whoever you're arguing with, they're going to call the shipper and they're going to tell them that you told them to Foxtrot Oscar. Alright? They're not going to say that they told you to Foxtrot Oscar first. They're not going to say that. Alright? It's going to be negative feedback on you. Alright? And that is what you do not want. Negative feedback, it's not worth it. Alright? So even if somebody's being rude and obnoxious to you, you're professional, you're polite, you're representing somebody else. Have respect for that. Okay? Don't be unprepared when you get to site. I've already mentioned PPE. Alright? If you get to a site and you don't have a high vis or boots or anything like that, that's going to be a phone call, that's going to be negative feedback. Okay? Have everything you need, even if you'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. like I say, the minimum expectation is high vis and boots, right? But you're going to need gloves for if you're handballing. This is PPE as well. Glasses, hard hat. You know, I've even got an amber beacon and magnetic reflective strips to go on the back of my van. If I ever go on a site and I need full chapter 8, I've got it if I need it. Right? So be prepared. If you're unprepared and you get caught out being unprepared, that's going to be a phone call. That's going to be negative feedback. You don't want that, right? So, and if you're late to a job without reason, if the shipper doesn't know where you are, what you're doing, or why you're late to a certain place, that's going to be negative feedback, you know? So make a phone call. I've already said it, you know? And another way to get really negative feedback, and probably the biggest one, is the biggest culprit of negative feedback, is cheeky co-loads. Alright? Don't do it. Don't be that guy. Alright? You might get away with it, but you probably won't. Alright? It's just not worth it. Don't do it. If you are going to co-load, if you've got the opportunity to co-load, call the shipper, ask, tell the person you're co-loading for, the second load you've got on, tell them that you've already got a load on board so they know what's happening. Call the shipper for the load you've already got on and ask them, is it okay? If it's not, don't do it. Alright? Because it's just not worth it. That is straight away, bang, negative feedback. Negative feedback. Alright? You don't want to do that. Alright? Right, so that's it, guys. I've just gone over there a few things that you need to do to get you positive feedback and to avoid negative feedback. The bottom line is do a good job, alright, and have respect for the shipper and the fact that you're working for them and representing them when you're dealing with customers, with senders and receivers. Alright, so that's basically how you get good positive feedback, avoid negative feedback, and how you, as your courier business, you are justified then with a good feedback base of just increasing your bids a little bit more and hopefully getting a little bit more work. So that's it for now. So that's it. All right. Peace.